Today, I'm going to be giving you guys a comparison between the Nintendo Switch version of Mortal Kombat 11 and the PlayStation 4 version. I apologize for the sickness. I do sound like crap, I also feel like crap. Welcome everybody to Tex-Mex Nerd Feed. My name is Mex and I am going solo today. I was not able to get Tex or his Xbox and Xbox version of Mortal Kombat 11, unfortunately, due to logistical reasons. So today I am going to be giving you a comparison rather than doing a Mortal Kombat for Switch versus Xbox. We are going to be doing a Mortal Kombat for Switch versus Mortal Kombat for PlayStation 4. What I did to get this video was to get my own personal preference on how it runs on the Switch versus a more powerful console. Was I got the PlayStation 4 version and I played through that. I played through the entire story. I did a couple individual fights. I got to look at the visuals, and visually the game is absolutely amazing. I also got the Nintendo Switch version, and I didn't touch that until after I've played a good amount of the PlayStation version, so that I had something to compare it to. When I switched to the Nintendo Switch version for Mortal Kombat 11, there were some obvious changes, some downscaling. So first and foremost, what I don't want to do is I don't want to give a review of Mortal Kombat, but unfortunately, if we are determining if the game is worth it for you to pick up for the Nintendo Switch versus the PlayStation, we kind of have to determine if the game is worth it itself. So I'm just going to give a very vague explanation or a very vague opinion on whether or not I think the game is worth it. And then later on, Tex and I will probably be doing a full-on review comparing the audio, the quality, the gameplay, the picture quality, the graphics, so on and so forth. So we will do that in the future, but for now, we just want to jump right into the comparison because the problem arises when NetherRealm did kind of refuse to give any sort of Nintendo Switch gameplay footage to the fans with any type of trailer. That was concerning to the majority of the fans, as noted by the multiple millions of social media comments on the trailers that NetherRealm put out. So we are kind of here to answer the question, what does it actually look like on the Nintendo Switch? Is it worth it? Just a little foreshadowing, I can definitely say that I understand why they didn't show any gameplay for the Nintendo Switch version. Obviously, in like the other Mortal Kombat games, you can find a character and you can do like a full body view of them. So what I did was I looked at Scorpion first, and then I did the same on the Nintendo Switch version. And unfortunately, it's not that great. You can definitely see that the resolution is down, especially if you're playing in handheld. There is no good way for us to get any handheld gameplay footage or clips or anything. The game software does not allow the Switch to do videos, to capture videos, but they do allow screen capture. So I did get a couple screenshots of it in handheld, and it doesn't really give what I'm about to say justice. So just go forward knowing that visuals are a lot better in docked than they are in handheld. So whatever you see on the screen that I already pre-recorded, the Nintendo Switch version, if you plan on playing it in handheld, which that's probably the biggest reason you would get it for the Switch versus any other system, just know that it does look a little bit worse than what I have already captured. So some of the first things that you note right away are, like I said, the downscaling and resolution. It's very noticeable, unfortunately. For somebody like me who doesn't really pick up on those sorts of things, it's pretty bad that it was noticeable. So you can see a couple different changes. You can see a little change in the lapel on Scorpion's suit. There's a lot less detail, which I'm okay with that. Kind of get rid of some detail, but make the gameplay a little bit better. Like I said before, they're trying to keep this at a steady 60 frames per second, so that's good. And you could go through all the characters and see. We're not going to show every character, just some ones that I thought showed a significant difference. So another thing that I noticed was that when you look at the shiny parts of the characters, which on the PlayStation 4 version it just works. It just looks like there's a good reflection of light. when you are looking at the Nintendo Switch version, they didn't really get that shimmer right. It's like they tried to use the shimmer. Maybe the screen for the Nintendo Switch was not that great, and so it couldn't really do what they wanted it to do, but it ends up looking, rather than like a reflection of light, it ends up looking like a shimmer, and I tried to capture that on the gameplay, so I hope you can see that. Make sure you're looking at the Nintendo Switch version. In Scorpion's eyes, you can really see it. I'm going to have a comparison between the PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch versions, and you can see the difference in the eyes. It just, like I said, it looks like a reflection of light in Scorpion for the PS4, and then it looks like, I don't know, like he's got starry eyes or something in the Nintendo Switch version. So that it definitely pops out at you, and that is already not great. Another big thing that popped out to me were the hair textures for the characters. Now, they looked pretty good on the PlayStation 4 version, and they looked worse, but not that bad on the Nintendo Switch version while docked. When you take it out of the dock and you're playing in handheld, those hair textures look absolutely horrible. They look fake. They look like something you'd see on, like, if you were playing a PSP game, and that looks terrible, and I don't understand why that was the case, considering the fact that I haven't noticed that on any other game for the Nintendo Switch. So obviously they can do like hair textures without making it look like that, but it could just be the lower resolution on the handheld screen. I did capture footage of that as well. You can see here in Liu Kang, you can see that there is barely anything wrong with the PlayStation 4 version. You might be able to tell a difference between the PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch while docked, but I also got a screenshot here of Liu Kang's hair and a couple other people's hair. You can really notice it with Jackie's hair as well. The textures are just absolutely horrible. Just know that I am a Nintendo fanboy and I am a Mortal Kombat fanboy, so it's like I'm a hardcore fan, and I'm not just a hater. I absolutely love these games, but these are just kind of things that definitely stick out to you, and if you are more critical of the visual aspects of video games, you are probably not going to enjoy this near as much as you would enjoy it on the PlayStation 4, Xbox, PC, whatever. But with that being said, we got through some of the textures that they kind of downgraded, which is okay. The resolution, which is it's your personal preference. They still got 60 frames per second, so I did get some gameplay footage of the actual game on both the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation version, and I tried to use the same characters in the same stage so you can try to compare them. They weren't the exact same fight, so there are going to be some differences, but hopefully you could kind of get the feel for it and kind of see the differences in the stages. I picked the most beautiful stage that Mortal Kombat 11 has to offer. That's the Shirai Ryu Fire Garden. And I picked Liu Kang as my character so that I can kind of display the hair textures when they do pop up. For some reason, they didn't really show up as good as they did before. I guess I should say as bad as they did before when I was playing it, just kind of getting my own opinion on it. But you can definitely see that there is a significant downgrade, and not necessarily that it's horrible. For people who don't really care too much about that, they're there for the gameplay, they're there for the story, or they're there for the portability and versatility of the Nintendo Switch version and just love fighting games, then by all means, there are definitely worse looking fighting games out there. Another thing that I wanted to take into consideration was a little glitch that I noticed when I was doing some towers. So I completed the story mode on the PlayStation 4, and I did the towers on the Nintendo Switch. So I did the towers on the Nintendo Switch, and because this is where I noticed it. There might be spoilers upcoming because it kind of shows the last stage during the boss fight of Kronika in regards to the towers. It doesn't really display anything with the story, but it does kind of give away stages that you can unlock after beating the story mode. So I went through the tower, and so that I can kind of show you this. I went through it on the PlayStation, and then I went through it on the Switch. There's a certain way that you have to beat Kronika. You deplete about a third of her life, and then she sends in like one of her goons, which is just another character, and then she changes the stage to another era, and then you do it again and do it again until she's beaten. But after the first stage, as they're showing the animation of the era changing around you, there is a little bit of a lag that I noticed, and it just kind of stops. And I was going through the PlayStation version, and I didn't notice it on the PlayStation version before, but at one point it did lag for like a second. It was just like a split second, and then it just kept going. On the Nintendo Switch, it lagged for quite a bit, and I was actually able to capture that on my Elgato HD60S. And so you can see here how it just kind of freezes, and I'm not slowing it down, I'm not pausing it or anything. I'm showing you in real time how it was when I was playing. It just kind of stops, and then it just, after a little while, you still hear the audio in the background. It just continues on. So, I tried to do a 2 bird, 1 stone type of deal when going through the tower with the Nintendo Switch and even the PlayStation. I enjoy the endings that they provide at the end of the tower, so I was like, hey, there's some controversy around Jax's ending, so I was like, oh, might as well play through as Jax. So I did that, I got his ending. I mean, I don't really see what the big deal is, how it's controversial, more like some people just don't care for it because of throwing their own political agenda into things, which people probably know. I usually have a problem with it, but it was whatever. Then I decided to go, I was like, hey, I wonder what it would be like for the bad guy's right-hand man to go through the tower and kind of end up beating Kronika. I wonder what kind of ending they'd have. So I got through it on the Nintendo Switch, and then this happened. So I guess it ended up being a 2 bird with 1 stone deal anyway. It's just that I didn't expect the bird of finding this glitchy mess that I encountered. And I played through the PlayStation 4 version a lot more than I have the Nintendo Switch and did not encounter any issues like this. This was just the Nintendo Switch version that I found this glitch. So I was like, oh, well, that's kind of crappy. It definitely wasn't what I wanted to do. It's not why I went into the game. I didn't go into the game wanting to get kicked out. So obviously that's not good. So I wondered, because I had beaten Kronika at that point, I wondered if they kind of saved that progress and I still got Geras' ending. So I went back in to my collection. I tried to find Geras' ending, and guess what wasn't unlocked? Geras' ending. So this is a very big problem in regards to the Nintendo Switch version of Mortal Kombat. It's not like the visuals you can get past, it's just visuals. It's the fact that you can lose all your progress by playing the Nintendo Switch version because it's just going to crap out on you randomly. And like I said, where I might have spent probably 6 hours playing PlayStation 4 version, I probably spent only an hour playing the Nintendo Switch version. I didn't actually time myself, I don't know, but I'm saying those are probably the proportions in which I played. I definitely played the PlayStation 4 version more than the Nintendo Switch. I didn't experience those problems with the PlayStation 4 version. So I guess this is the point in which I kind of give my opinion on whether or not I think that the Nintendo Switch version of Mortal Kombat is worth it, or if you should just stick with a regular home console or PC version of Mortal Kombat. So, in the end, Mortal Kombat on any other system other than Nintendo Switch is definitely the best version. Unfortunately, that's just how it is, and I love my Nintendo Switch, but that's unfortunately how it is. So it kind of comes down to, do you want the power or portability? You need to compare when will you play Mortal Kombat. So in regards to that fact, if you are getting it for the Nintendo Switch to play it portably, know that everything I showed here is probably going to look worse than that. So if you are just playing it in docked mode at home, I don't see why you would get the Nintendo Switch version, when the other home consoles are far more superior than that of the Nintendo Switch version. Another issue is that why are you grabbing the game? Why do you want to pick up Mortal Kombat? Is it for the story? Because I can tell you, I thought that the story was very lackluster. It was very what I didn't want it to be. And so maybe that's just my opinion. Maybe you will enjoy the story, but if you just want it for the story, you just want it for local gameplay or whatever, Nintendo Switch is probably the way to go. But if you are trying to get it for online play, there's no reason why you shouldn't get it on PC or a home console. The online services are a lot better for those things, especially for the Xbox. The Xbox is one of the better online services that you can get, and they have native voice chat for each console. I looked it up, and for some reason the Nintendo Switch Mortal Kombat 11 version, you have to use that stupid app that Nintendo is trying to push on everybody. So where most other third-party titles do allow for native voice chat, like Fortnite or whatever, Mortal Kombat 11 does not. You have to use that dumb app. Like I said though, if you are just using it for a local or story mode gameplay, then there's I'd say, and you're not that invested in the visuals or graphics and stuff like that, I'd say it's definitely a fun game to play. The gameplay is absolutely amazing. I just don't know if it's worth $60 for the Switch version. If you're spending that $60, you might as well just get it for a better console or PC that can run it at higher resolutions, higher graphics. I think that's gonna be it for me. I don't believe I missed anything. Like I said, Tex and I, we want to do a review of the game in its entirety. It's probably going to be another long one, unfortunately. We are very opinionated, and we have a couple things to discuss in regards to it. So if you are looking forward to that, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you hit that notification bell, you should get a notification every time we upload a video. We upload a video every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and we will upload every now and again depending on releases of movies or games. Hit that like button if you did like the video. Share it with your friends if you know that they were concerned with the Nintendo Switch gameplay versus other consoles and the PC version. I hope that I provided enough gameplay footage to kind of showcase what kind of graphical downgrades they did provide. In the comment section below, let me know if you picked up the Nintendo Switch version or if you were waiting for a video like this to kind of get confirmation. Unfortunately, I'm sorry if I did kind of convince you not to get it for the Nintendo Switch version. If you only have a Nintendo Switch, I definitely think it's worth picking up. It is a very fun game. The gameplay is amazing. And I think that is going to be it for me. So, thank you for watching.